Okay, so today we are going to talk about group coaching because it seems like it's one of those things that everybody is wanting to get into. Everyone's interested in it, as you should be, because it is one of those things I think everyone is going to eventually move into in some shape or form in their coaching business. It just makes sense because when we do the one-on-one coaching, it's very gratifying when we're first getting started. It's a great way to get experience, as I've taught in my course. And last fall, Mary Louise, you probably remember, Sandy as well, that there is a kind of a time frame on how much one-on-one you can actually do before you start to burn out just a little bit. It is emotionally and physically and mentally more of an investment to train people one-on-one. I mean, to coach people one-on-one than it is to do a group. When you're doing a group, you reach a bigger audience. You can make more money. You'll never have more time in a day, and that's the underlying thing that the reason why I tell people to really think about the group coaching, because let's just think about like my highest point of how many clients I was doing in a day, and this is just an example. And again, sorry about the nose, but so I was up to 12 or 13 clients in a month that all seemed to be in the same phase of the education preparation action. So they were within 2 weeks or 3 weeks of each other, which meant that I was having to spend the same amount of time on these, on the first intake. As you guys know, it's 17 pages now. Back when I was just starting with it, it started out as 8, I think was the first time, 10. As I added more, it just grew and grew. And so as the intake process got longer and deeper for me, it was more of the, more emotional investment, more financial investment, because I was losing time on other things. I was going to meet my clients one-on-one, and I just was exhausted. I remember that time frame being like, oh my gosh, how long can I continue this? I remember thinking, I wish I could take all of these people in the first intake process into one group and just get it all done at one time. And then, the next phase, I wish I could get these 5 people and meet with them at the same time. And so that's kind of where the group coaching came in, especially for the thyroid. When I was teaching about the endocrine system, I was overwhelmed with how many times I was repeating the same information. So I just started holding some classes, and it really made a lot more sense. I was not as overwhelmed. I didn't spend as much money meeting people, getting things together. It just made more sense. So I'm going to go ahead and check your questions as I go through here, but let me get started. I like to kind of save questions for the very end, so let me get started with kind of just going over again how simple this can really be. So I'm going to pull up some infographics you guys have probably seen before, but I want to start with the basic, and hold on, I'll share my screen for you guys. And then I'm going to show you, for those of you who don't remember, or maybe you didn't get to catch it with the Eventbrite post, I'm going to show you how to schedule those. So hold on a moment. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is misery. Woo. Okay, so actually I'm going to show you, wait a minute, where did it go? I had a different one. Hold on a minute, you guys. I want to show you the other one first, the simple group coaching outline. Okay. So can you guys see this okay? Just let me know if it's going through okay. And that'll let me know that everybody's viewing it. How simple is this, right? Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So 4 steps for group coaching. This is very simple. 4 simple steps for group coaching. You have to have a subject, right? And this is another area where I find that I'm seeing people they're complicating this to the point where it's instead of just being about whole food, it's about whole food, gluten, soy, and anti-inflammatory food plans, or it's hormones, cortisol, this. Like our subject it's absolutely getting complicated. The subject is getting complicated. So we want to keep the subject simple so that when we have the topic, we can always name it something easy, you guys, something simple. And the tagline can be complicated. As you guys have seen, and we're going through, the mentorship and mastery, someone like Tara posted yesterday a lengthy title for her subject of what she was teaching. And I kind of went in and simplified it. whenever we're doing something like this, we want to do a simple title, and we can do a lengthy tagline that really gets into the details of what we're going to be talking about. And I think it's the tagline to me is really underutilized, and that's with logos and our businesses in every way. So choose your subject and then have a lengthy tagline that explains what it is. Then you schedule the event. Now, keep in mind, when we're doing this, we haven't even started. We can do this without even having one piece of content written, one document, one giveaway, one opt-in, anything. We can start the process of group coaching right away by choosing a subject and then scheduling the event. Now, yes, you have to have something that explains the subject, right? You've got to have something that that tells like a little description of it. But you don't have to go into all the details about what people are going to be getting with the group or anything like that when you're just choosing a subject and scheduling the event, which means you have to have a date, right? Okay. So with that said, we're not even planning on doing the marketing yet. We can start the marketing if we're all ready to go, but we don't even have to start doing that yet. And we can move into step 3, which is opening that Facebook group. These are just kind of the pieces that, those stray pieces that we want to make sure are done and ready to go, so that when people do start to sign up, they have a date, they know where you're going to be meeting, if it's local or online, and they have a Facebook group where they can jump in and start interacting with people and start getting to know you too. Okay. So I know that these are all loaded. I think Kaylee loaded these into the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery group. I will make sure, but these are very simple infographics just to give you, just to remind you, don't stray off into thinking that you have to have a program written. Don't go off into thinking that you have to know Facebook ads yet, just to get a group coaching program started. Now, group coaching classes and programs, I'm going to use those terms kind of interchangeably because they're all the same thing. Whether you're launching a program, a group coaching class, it doesn't matter. They're all basically the same approach, and you can simplify it or make it more complicated. It's really going to depend on how long is the program or the class or the coaching sequence of events. Okay. All right. So when you open the Facebook group, that is a place, remember this, that you can have things loaded in there ready for them to start learning about. So as an example, if I were doing a group, say a group coaching event, and I was going to teach about allergies, since I'm dealing with that right now, let's talk about that. Let's just say allergies, what causes them. I'm trying to think of a tagline here. What causes them and what can be done about it naturally, or something like that. When I open the group, Facebook group page, I would want to name it something similar to what I'm naming, the program, the class, or the coaching group. And within that group coaching page on Facebook, have some files already loaded that just kind of gives a general idea. You don't want to give everything away because you're teaching a class on this. A general idea on where allergies come from. Or even maybe you do an introduction video that says, hey, I'm Carmen, and I'm so happy that you're here today. We are going to learn so much about allergies and the origin of them, where they came from, how they affect us, how powerful they can be, how they can interrupt our daily lives. And I'm going to give you some really great, ideas on how to solve these problems. It's going to be good for the whole family, blah, 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 blah. And then underneath that, you provide a link, maybe from a well-known functional medical provider or someone that gives them something to get started with. You can do that. You can do an infographic just like this. I'm going to show you that in Canva. For those of you who have not been to Canva yet, you're missing out because those are so easy to create. But you can do an infographic about this. That may say something like where allergies come from. And then you might have one, I don't know, outside, sources like weeds, grass, spray, inside, candles, sprays, this, foods we may eat, whatever, you get my point here. But we're keeping it simple, and we're giving them something to see, and we're trying to make sure that something in that infographic strikes them and makes them think, I've never thought about that before. Like today, when I posted in my health coach, Carmen Hunter health coach group for like old clients and family and friends and stuff, just something I keep running off, just for fun. In there, I put something like, did you know that dairy aggravates allergies? Because it produces more mucus. And that is just a quick fact that some people weren't aware of. And one of the first posts was from an old client. She was like, oh, that could be what's going on with my daughter. And so, you know, something simple that makes people think, but that, you know, maybe is outside the norm just a little bit, but something simple that they can start learning about as they're waiting for this class group program to start. Okay, now the important thing that people seem to forget quite a bit is when we are doing a group coaching program, you know, there is kind of a timeline that most people follow. We do end up saying automated reminders, but I'm going to show you that in just a second. Let me pull this other document up. Okay. All right. So, and this is called a launch timeline, a basic launch timeline. Let me increase it a little bit so we can all see it better. All right. Same thing. Again, course, class, programs. Launching is simply the definition for creating something in a time frame where the end result is going to be a paid program or a announcing something big. It's launching something, putting something out into the world. I don't have a technical definition for this. I'm sure someone will come up with one, but the thing is, launching something is the same thing as starting a group class or program, because the steps are simply the same. So let's talk about, again, see the top of this example of a basic launch timeline. You're picking the topic, the course, the class, the program you want to launch. You're naming it. This example right here is kind of a little bit more in-depth rundown on what I just showed you, but it's with a timeline. So let's just say that we are going to, we really want to generate the interest in the group class and program. Because I'm seeing another thing I want to point out, you guys, that I'm seeing that's being missed is, you know, people are saying, well, I haven't got a lot of signups. I don't have anybody signed up. I've only got one person. I don't want to do this if I don't have enough people. How do I get more people interested? One of the biggest steps that's missing from getting signups and getting people interested in what you're offering that is paid is offering something for free, doing something for free. And usually that is either, it's a webinar for the most part, you guys, you've got to put some value-packed information out. Sometimes it's great to do just a live talk, right? But a webinar that offers value is going to get you more people interested, it's going to grow your list, and it's going to lead to your paid program in a very significant, consistent way that makes sense to people. So let's talk about that for just a second. So week one, and where this is based on a kind of a 6-week outline on how to get to the program. So week one, you're going to set a date for the free value packed webinar. All right, so let me see if I can use an example here. So I've got, let's say if you're working with affiliates, let me say this first real quick. If you're working with affiliates, your swipe copy and asking for that support needs to happen pretty quickly in the process. So if I am someone that you wanted to help promote something for you, let's say that Kathy is going to do a whole food program and she wants my help in promoting it, since it's not something I do anymore, except for with some private clients. She would start working on swipe copy to send to me right away and saying to me, my webinar starts in 6 weeks, and here's the date, and here's the swipe copy. Here's a link for you to start making money on it when the paid program launches. And that is something you want to start on early, because most of the time when you're asking for affiliate help, they are literally like 2 to 3 months in advance planning events and promoting for other people. Okay. So week one, you set that date, set the date for the event, and wherever you're going to promote it or get it out there to the world, whether it be through Zoom, Eventbrite, a CourseCraft, any of those places that does those signups for you, that's where you're going to put it. Okay, so hold on a minute. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I will show you how, I think it was it? Maybe it was Eventbrite. Hold on just a moment, you guys. Where are we? The little box is getting in the way. Here it is. Okay, so Eventbrite is where I used to do a lot of my announcements and training, and gathering of names, because they have an automated sequence in it. And I was not familiar with ClickFunnels. I did not know how to do MailChimp. I was just trying to get the word out about what I was doing when I first started this kind of online marketing and promotion idea. So when you do this type of thing, you just simply, I'm going to show you the real brief version. I'm going to show you how easy this is. But you create your event. It's a template. So all you do is you simply type in allergies. Sorry. Woo, itchy nose. You specify where it's going to be held. For me, I would find, like an online event, let's say, yeah. So you click online event. Let's just say you're doing it online, but wherever it is, if it is local, you can choose a local event and you can link to it. Okay. I'm not going to go through that because it's going to show a map and all of that, but it's that simple. You click a location. You put your date, when it starts, when it ends. You drag in your image. You do a very brief description about it. Make sure that your information is up to date and that you link to anything that you want this to automatically go out to. And then, and this, again, we're talking about the free webinar, you guys. Here's where we can put in, our information about what it is. I don't know, general admission, free webinar, something like that. Okay, you guys are going to just fill it out according to what you want to do. Golly, I can't even spell. And then make sure your price is free and so on and so forth. Okay. So you go down to your event, you choose what it is, your main ticket. This is how simple it is, but you make your event live. And then when you do that, when your event is live, it's out there. It's out there for the world to see. And you're able to go into your menu on Eventbrite. Let me go back to a past event so you guys can see it. Hold on a second. You can see what it looks like. So we'll go to manage events and we'll go to the past ones. I've got some drafts done too. And like the one I did with Leanne Webster, you guys, it's got automated email. So here's a menu. I wanted to go here so you can see the menu on the side. This is where you can create your order confirmations. You can look at you can track things. You can see who is signing with you, analytics, everything. Event reports, you can export everyone that signed up into a mail server. So you build a list, manage your attendees. It shows you your orders, like how many people signed up. And this is where you gather your email addresses and so on, okay? And you can integrate with MailChimp and other things over here. So Eventbrite's just a really kind of a nice beginner way to set up your groups and to get your free webinar information out there and start getting signups. Is this making sense so far, you guys? Let me know if it is or it's not, and where I need to go with it, okay? All right, so going back to the group launch class, etc. So week 2 is when you really need to start working on a slide deck for that webinar, because when you're doing your webinar, you have got to have something that gives them value, something that can, and we talked about slide decks last week, but that walks them through, what you're teaching them and what they're getting from you for free. It's got to be something that they can really look at and go, I never knew that. Wow, she's giving me something that I can take into my business and use, or take into my daily life and use. I mean, even something so simple as on a slide you have the Dirty Dozen or something like that. So because when the replay goes out, people can then screenshot, take a picture of the Dirty Dozen, and remember that list that you're providing to them, okay? So your time frame, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but as you can see, you are working towards the paid group coach class program, whatever, as time goes on. You don't have to have the program written just because you have a date set. That is one of the biggest myths about how to do group classes and coaching, is that everything has to be done before you can even get it started. Okay, so let's continue through this real quick. Week 3, week 2, you want to start working on maybe your first day or your lesson for your class or your program. If you're doing a 4-week class, I would start working on day 1, but not worry about the rest of it. If it's a simple one-time event, then start working on the process of how you're going to teach it, but don't worry about finishing the whole thing in week 2. You've still got 4 weeks to go when you're creating this type of thing. And as you go, you're going to be changing things. So just because you think you've got your slide deck completely done, as you're working through and you're promoting and your affiliates are working with you, people are asking questions, things might start to change. So don't get too married to something being completed until you reach the end of that 6-week process. All right, week 3, continue your slide deck work, schedule your webinar should be scheduled. You're setting your date week 1, but you're scheduling the webinar as time goes on, and you can start promoting the event. So there's a lot of people that don't like to promote until 8 days before the event. Some people like to get it, in 3 weeks ahead. I have seen the most luck, and I've been watching others do the same thing with a 10 to 14 day lead on webinars. You've got to think about whether or not there's holidays in there, the weekends that are in there as far as promoting and so on. So you're going to start promoting your event 10 to 14 days prior to it. Now, this is the free event. I'm really focusing on this stuff because I think, again, I want to just reiterate that, what's missing from generating interest, I think, is offering something free that provides value and gets them interested in what the paid part of what you're offering is. So if you're not doing something to generate that interest and show them who you are and get them used to get them to know who you are, it's going to be really hard to sign people up to pay for something that you're offering. Whether it's a class that costs $19 or a 4-week, session or whatever it is, people still want to get to know you, and they still feel like they have to have some value on the front end of paying for something. That is almost always going to be a deal breaker. If you're just saying, join me for this free group, and they don't know you, and you're saying, well, nobody's signing up, I don't understand. Well, they don't sign up because they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. You've got to generate that relationship. It is indeed the know, like, trust concept that people talk about in marketing all the time. You're going to get more people interested in paid programs if they know, like, and trust you before. That is where the free part comes in. You absolutely, whether it's local or it's online, when you provide something for free ahead of time, you will almost guarantee to increase your sales a couple 100%. Okay. So let me step outside of the online discussion for a minute and tell you what this may look like if you're doing a local thing where you're trying to generate interest locally. So what that might look like is you set a date. Again, it's kind of the same steps. You create the Eventbrite, set up, sign up for this free event. I did, and I would show you the thyroid one I did, but I think it's expired because it's been a couple of years ago. And then you start generating interest in your local online social media. Share it with family and friends. Create a note. Do a live video to friends and family in the area. Whatever it looks like. The free part, the part that you're leading up to is that you're going to talk for free somewhere, wherever that may be. Now set your venue also. Maybe you've got someone that wants to host you for 30 minutes and do a Q&A or a live meet and greet. You don't have to do something really significant to do a local get to know me kind of thing. And a meet and greet could be something as simple as you set a day, you've got a chiropractor and they want to host you in their lobby on the busiest day of their week, which might be a Thursday. Set the date for that Thursday, tell them, meet me here. I'm going to be giving some great value and some giveaways, and I'm going to be telling you about something really cool that's coming up. So they set it for their lunch hour, 12 o'clock, whatever. And you guys see I'm just making this up. You're there at 12 o'clock till 12:45. You talk for 30 minutes of that time frame, telling them, about whatever your topic is, leading, something simple, the basics of it. And then at the very end of the conversation, you say, now I'm going to meet me back here. Sign up to meet me back here. I am going to be doing a paid, class or coaching program. You don't have to say paid, but coaching class or program that goes into, great detail and depth about how environmental toxins are affecting your health or whatever it is. Have your sign up sheet there. Have the information on where they can find the online sign up. Make sure you have that set up. That is your part where you've given them value. You've taught them about environmental toxins, the basics of it, or you can even start with something simple that says, I'm going to give you some simple ways to reduce environmental toxins in your yard. But for this group class that I'm going to hold, I'm going to teach you how to do it in your entire world. I'm going to teach you about inside the house. I'm going to teach you even more about the garden, outside, the car, your child's school. And I'm just making this up, you guys, but you see how you start with something small. And then when you announce the paid program, you market the paid program, it's for something much bigger. So it seems like, oh my gosh, she already gave us so much. Look at all this information and these free handouts she gave us on how what we're putting in our yard is toxic. And she's going to give us something for the house and the this and the this and the this, and it's only $35. Oh my gosh, I absolutely want to sign up. So your teaser is the free stuff. It's value. They get something from it. You want to make sure that they don't feel like they've wasted their time. But it leads into something that is so much bigger and so much more exciting than just that 30-minute talk that you gave. All right, I have to take a drink of my tea because my throat is literally like, So tell me if there's any questions so far about any of this. I'm going to check the box up here and just make sure that you guys are getting this so far. So, okay, nothing so far. So that's what I want to make sure that we're all clear on, is that when we are trying to generate interest, we've got to provide value on the front end. So week 4 may look like you're finalizing your webinar. This back to the online thing. If we are not doing the online thing, right, we are preparing to start that class, that paid class. We are working on the content. We are marketing. We are doing Facebook ads and so on. Just remember that. Local on online, they're very similar, but the preparation process is different. So if I were going to start working on the webinar, I would still be doing live announcements on my page. I would be getting in my group and being saying, I am working on the webinar that's coming up on this date, and I'm so excited. So today I did an entire slide about sprays that you can use on the weeds in your yard, or whatever it is, you guys. Doing live videos, getting people excited, 1 to 2 minutes, just telling them what's coming up, what's going on, what are you working on, what they can expect from that free webinar or that free talk. Just constantly being in people's presence and being in front of them. Yes, it can be one of those things that people aren't comfortable with, and it can be exhausting, but that's part of the process of growing your business. People have to get to know you, and the best way to do that is to see who you are live. See if you know what you're talking about. Get them excited about things. Show them that you're there to support them, that you're not going to overwhelm them. Like, be that person that they are going to start looking to for all of their answers about health, okay? All right. So what I'm going to do is make sure this is tucked into the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery, so you guys can see this outline if you don't have it already. But just remember that when we are doing things like this, and we're just getting started, we don't have to have a super fancy sales page. We don't have to have ClickFunnels, and we don't have to have all of those expensive programs to do this. We can do this in a very simple way. Eventbrite gives you a landing page. Eventbrite gives you a sign up. They give you email automation. They give you all of those things. So if you have never done an event before and you're wanting to venture into group classes and coaching and training, then I really encourage you to look at Eventbrite just to get started. Yes, they take a portion of your money. Of course they do. I mean, that's part of what they do. But it's worth it to get your feet, you get your toe in the water, get your feet wet a little bit about how to do the process of creating the event, setting the date, promoting, watching the names come in, learning how to export a CSV list, very simple, which grows your email list, using those URLs to promote and so on, okay? And it's also a great way to communicate with your people. You can create your own emails there and say, I'm getting so excited I had to throw an additional email out here. What is your, you can ask questions. What's your favorite beverage to have while you're taking a class? Would you rather have sparkling water or plain water? And, you're getting input and you're getting some feedback and you're interacting with them. It's really one of the things I've found that is kind of a turnoff for me as a consumer is as I wipe my nose. I'm talking about a turnoff and I'm wiping my nose. Sorry, you guys. But it's when I sign up for something because someone's telling me how great their product is or their program is, and then I hear nothing from them until the absolute, last hour, where someone might say, don't forget, 1 hour, we start this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I signed up for that like 2 weeks ago. I have a coffee appointment in an hour. And I totally forgot about it. I want to know that somebody, is getting my attention. I want to be reminded. I don't want too much of it, but I definitely want to know that, oh yeah, you've signed up for this. Don't forget, I'm going to be here, or here's a little link or a tip for today that's going to be leading us into the training, something like that. So when you structure your group training classes and programs, remember within the actual work that you're doing, the structure of it, that you have to be interacting, you have to be talking to people, not just once or twice, but emailing, getting out there in front of them, giving them some little snippets and training and information and resources before you get to that free example and that free webinar, or that free talk that you're going to offer. Okay. All right. I got to move this window around here. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to check on, let me check the Facebook group real quick for just a second. Yep. Okay. Hey, Jennifer and Connie. Hey, guys. Okay. So let me go back to, I want to show you another thing, though, to keep in mind when you are helping your people, too. This is, remember the simplify your coaching approach. So something to keep in mind, and I used to keep this little, not this diagram, but this list up in front of me when I would be working on something that I was teaching, like endocrine system, sex hormones, adrenals, the HPA axis, any of that stuff that I know a lot about. I would keep this up as a reminder to me that when I'm talking to these people that are new to this kind of thing, whole food and, health coaching in general, that I really need to keep it simple for people. And this really helped me to kind of dial myself back and pull the reins in a little bit, reminding myself that most people don't even do the very basics to stay well. They don't have any idea on what to do about food. Most people think that being a night owl is a normal thing. It's not. Some people think that, they should be running more and eating less, and we know better than that. So remember, when you're doing, you're structuring your programs and your classes and stuff like that, unless you're speaking to a higher level of people that have been through several of your trainings before, that we really need to dial it back and keep things really simple for people, okay? Because we don't want to lose them. They're paying us money to be a part of what we're offering. We don't want to lose them just because we're talking over their head, all right? All right, so give me a second. I'm going to stop the share, and I am going to pull up something and walk you guys through it. I got a bunch of messages for people who could not attend today. So please, if you're on, and I know there's like 3 or 4 of you on that register, but there's some people watching. If something comes up that you think someone could benefit from hearing, please, let me know. I'm happy to answer questions, or, I don't want to miss anything. So for those of you who have actually been through this before, you may want to speak up for people who can't be here. Okay, hold on a moment. All right, so this is a group coaching template that I created and I sell on my website. You don't have to buy it. I'm just going to walk you through, and this is part of the training process. So give me a moment. Okay. All right, making sure you can see this again. So Mary Louise, I see you, and you're the one that's answering. So tell me if you can see the group coaching template, okay? All right. Okay, so I'm assuming we're good. Thanks, Mary Louise. You're my answer queen. Okay, so the group coaching template. This is a really basic outline, okay? So I like to base anytime I do a group coaching program, I like to, especially when we're starting from scratch, I like to start with removing things that are harmful. And part of this is always educating people. Always. That's what we're doing in this process. If you notice, the remove, rest, and replace really follows the education, preparation, action stuff as well. So educating them, removing things that are harmful, telling them why they're harmful, giving them ways to replace things in the action steps. When we want to let them know that we can take all the thyroid medication that we want. We can, eat all the salads that we want, but if we are still eating foods that are harmful to the thyroid, it's really not making that big of a difference. We want to make sure we get things out of the way so that when we move the body into a healthier state, that those things can root and take place. So as an example, let's think about someone who's estrogen dominant. So maybe that person that's estrogen dominant is vegan, and they are absolutely killing it on the soy and the edamame and the tofu and all of that stuff. And it's not the fermented healthy kind. It is the kind of soy that actually increases the estrogen load in the body. So for that particular person, or let's use this as a group explanation for those of you who may work with women that are dealing with estrogen dominance or symptoms of it, okay? So what we would do with that group of women, and this is the example I'm going to use, I walk through this, is we would educate them on what estrogen dominance is, okay? And we are in the group right now. Let's pretend we're in the group. We educate them on estrogen dominance. We talk about the phytoestrogens, xenoestrogens, how they affect the HPA axis, how they affect the body, how they affect fertility, menopause, all of that. And then we talk about, we give them education on how to remove those things. We don't tell them to, but we give them ideas on how to do it. As just for example, when I did mine, I got a box and 2 boxes. I got them in my bathroom. Actually, I got a trash can in a box, if I'm remembering correctly. Everything that was listed on a list that I was using as a guide that had specific ingredients went in the trash. The other things that I wanted to keep went into and give away went into the box, and the things that I wanted to replace and keep for myself went back into the medicine cabinet. Okay, so that is something that I would create an action step of, removing those harmful things, how to do it. So homework for people to work on, right? Education and homework for them to get prepared. In the meantime, while they are going through this process of change, you know, we want to talk to them about resting the body. But why? Because we want to reduce the stress that they are undergoing. So when we're removing harmful things, our bodies can go through that, you know, we can call it Herxheimer's if we want, but a detox process where we don't feel as good because our body is losing things that it's used to having, or it is reducing toxic loads, which is being dumped into the bloodstream, whatever it may be. So this is a great way to talk to them about resting it. Listen, while we're doing this process of removing too much estrogen and changing food and all of those things, and you're making these great strides and educating yourself and cleaning out the house, you know, it might be a great time to consider getting some meditation done or going to bed earlier. And then you can spend an entire session or day or section of your training on what it means to rest the body from the things that it's the changes that it's going through. Then we talk about replacing things. So then we move on into education process. Now, let's go back to structure real quick. Remember this: if you're doing one class, one day, maybe your class is an hour and 90 minutes. You spend 20 minutes on the remove. You spend 20 minutes on, or 30 minutes on the rest. You'd spend 30 minutes on the replace, whatever. You're going to have to break this up according to what you are doing. Not everything can be given to you as a template. I don't think that's the way to coach anyway. You guys have to put your spin on this stuff. I'm just giving you an example. Or maybe you do a 3-week program, and the first week you do the remove, the second week you do the rest, and the third week you do the replace. Whatever the structure of the group is for you, whether it is that one day, that 3 weeks, or that 1 month, or however it is, you know, using the remove, rest, and replace process for everything you're doing, it really gives some consistency and keeps you within that safe and low risk process of health coaching. So once we cover the rest phase, we move into the replace phase. And that's, you guys all know what the replace thing is, you know, helping them make better decisions on whole foods beyond the soy, estrogen, all of that stuff for the estrogen dominance group of women, talking to them about how to reduce stress, the way they see it, change the way they perceive it, whatever it looks like for that group. And then, you know, what you can always do, and what I always recommend, is if it's a 3-week program, a 1-month program, the last week is always spent for Q&A, because everyone is going to have questions about how to proceed with their lives. Like, now that I've reduced my estrogen load, do I have to continue this, and so on and so forth. Same thing if you're doing this in a 1-day event. So you do an hour-and-a-half class, maybe you do 30 minutes to remove, 30 minutes on rest, 30 minutes on replace, and the last 30 minutes is Q&A. So it's a 2-hour-long, you can call it a workshop if you want. I hate the word workshop. It just sounds like work to me. So I like to just call it a class or a program or a group coaching session or whatever it may be. All right, so that's it. That's a really simple template at the very front end on how to structure anything. I just used estrogen dominance as an example. You can do this with anything. You can do this remove, rest, and replace as a structure for a group coaching program or class or course with any topic. Talk about stress. Okay, so let's say stress is your topic. Stress, why it's harmful. How do we remove the stressors from our lives? How do we start to see it differently? How do we restructure things? How do we rest from so much stress that has cumulatively been gathering in our body? How do we rest from stress that happened over the last couple of weeks? Whatever. The whole rest process can be stretched out and changed to be custom to who you're talking to. Then we replace. What do we replace those stressful times in our lives with, or those stressful activities or stressful events? Then you talk about the things like walking meditation. If someone who just can't sit still, you then talk to them about how they can still be comfortable in their routine, but maybe they do a walking meditation instead of going and doing marathons. You can, so do you see what I'm saying here? Any topic can be used for remove, rest, and replace. All right, so I want to move down a little bit. Any questions about that? Post it, please. So group coaching is a process of helping others beyond a one-on-one format. You can do this online, you can do it on person. Remember, we've already gone through a very simple steps launch outline that you guys are gonna have to take a look at. And so basically, I already talked about, you know, the one-on-one thing and what the pros and cons are of that. I've already covered that verbally, so I'm gonna scroll down. A couple of things I wanna make sure you know about group coaching is that you're really going to gain experience with this. So even if you only get 3 signups for a $45 class that is a month long or whatever, that is going to give you the experience on how you promoted it. How did you structure it? What did people get from it? You can get 3 testimonials. You can change it into a more intimate group instead of such an expansive program. You can tweak it, whatever. I just really encourage people not to cancel programs unless you absolutely get no interest at all. And then, you don't need to tell everybody why or anything like that. If you have to cancel something because of lack of signups, you can simply say, this event has been rescheduled. There's no reason to give an announcement about why. You don't owe any explanation of that. And remember, you can help as many people in a group as you can manage while providing valuable coaching. You can structure your sessions, as I just talked about, around multiple topics and subjects. The ideas are endless. I could literally, if I had enough time in a day, I could put together 20 group coaching classes and topics and subjects in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I just don't have time to do it, but it's so simple. If you have questions about how to do something, or you have an idea in your mind, post it in the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery. I will help you very quickly structure something. It's very easy for me to do that on the fly. I just can't take time to write out a program like I did with this one. You can create a 1-day class, a month-long coaching program, or even more. What you could do with the remove, rest, and replace is you could do a 3-month coaching group, where the first month is what do you remove from your life that helps you to be more optimally healthy. 1 week could be about food. 1 week could be about stress. 1 week could be about things in your room that are keeping you from sleeping well. The next week could be Q&A. Then month 2, how do you rest the body from so much stress? Well, you can do this, 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 this. Month 3, how do you replace that? You can do this, this, this. It can all be structured. It can be done a myriad of ways. So each group that you hold can transfer into a new paid class. So, for example, a 1-day workshop, which I put that word in here because I don't even know why I did that. I shouldn't have, but I did. On the importance of a whole food can lead into another paid group, how to remove gluten and other toxic ingredients from your home. So if you're doing really basic introductory things for people who have never even thought about changing their life, you can always lead into a more advanced tiered program that helps them take it further, okay? Which I really encourage you guys to do. Start with, are you a standard American diet? And you can say diet in this case, you guys, because it is a term, standard American diet, SAD. Are you a standard American diet person? Do you want to change that? Okay, then you do the standard American diet group, which leads to the next week, which is how to shift away from that lifestyle, which leads to the next week. How to recognize whole food, which moves to the next week. How to get more whole foods into your food plan and your life. Like, each one of these things should be titrated up according to the audience that you're speaking to. So talking to someone about going gluten-free and eating anti-inflammatory foods who eats Wendy's 4 days a week and Subway the other 3 doesn't make any sense. Talking to them about how they can take 1 day, 1 meal per day, where they can start to shift their microbiome in their gut, and they can start to move the needle on their health in a manageable way, makes more sense for that person. You guys, I think that one of the other things I want to say about us is that we tend to forget that the starting point, every one of us was at a starting point at some point. I mean, even I was raised holistically by my mother. And when I went back to this way of eating, almost 30 years later, I had a starting point. I had to learn all over again what was good for me and what wasn't, how to do this thing called whole food and gluten-free and soy-free and all of that. So just remember, where were you when you started? How did you feel when you started this type of thing? What one thing scared you off? Don't say that. What one thing encouraged you? Say that. You know what I mean? So just remember that these are people that are just looking for encouragement, support, and knowledge and resources in a way that meets them where they are right now. Not where you are, but where they are. All right. So the group provides support to each other, which relieves your workload as time goes on. Again, I mean, my group is an example. On the Mentorship and Mastery, when I was traveling this weekend, I didn't get to each post right away. You guys supported each other. That's the same thing for your people. So when you have that group, that you open that group in Facebook, those people support each other, so that you don't have to, you're not chained to the computer. Yes, you need to respond. Yes, you need to get in there and communicate and interact. But you're not chained to your desk, because you're providing a community of support for your people. All right, you get more income, obviously. This one goes without saying, really. I mean, one client is $175 a month. You get 10 clients at $50 per class. I mean, do the math. You're going to make more money. You get more reach. If you help 10 people, those people are going to tell other people. You help one person, that person's going to hop around telling one person at a time. So bigger reach. Okay, the cons of group coaching, of course, are there's more work on the front end if you're using intake forms or you're prepping landing pages, launch sequences, and content preparation. There's more work fielding questions and welcoming people, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So the cons are definitely not outweighed by the pros. Okay, so since we already talked about what one-time sessions are about, group coaching is really good for introducing concepts, ideas that can be expanded on. Again, so a series of classes is good for taking things really deep for learning a new lifestyle. A layout for your class workshop will vary according to the timeline that you choose, and the done for you templates that you can get. I'm actually tossing around, throwing these into the mentorship group as well. And then where you hold your group coaching classes depends on your preference. Many people are moving to online work because of efficiency, but there are some people that really love that one-on-one interaction, that talk, that, you know, sitting down with people face to face and having that personal attention. And I used to love it, absolutely love it. But again, over time, when you do it for so long, it can really be something that you need to pay attention to so you don't get burned out, okay? And moving online is a really great way to do that, because you're learning a whole other process of working with people in groups. All right, suggestions: renting locally, renting a space, or they asking the library if they offer free space, and so on. Online, there's a ton of places you can do this for free. So again, you know, reducing the financial load on you. Eventbrite and Zoom does a meeting space for free, and I think it's $9 a month for over 50. So you could even do, you know, your online groups for basically nothing, because when you're going to make your money back, you're going to pay Eventbrite, and even if you pay $9 for Zoom, you're going to pay that back as well. Think about the times that you're holding your groups. If you're not getting a lot of signups, maybe you want to evaluate when you're offering them. Is your audience mainly at work during the time that you're having your class? So, you know, if you're appealing to stay-at-home moms, you know, maybe the evenings would be better when the husband or spouse comes home and is able to take over the, you know, childcare. Are you catering to a corporate America and you're trying to help them dial in and be more efficient with their food, but they're at work from 8 to 5 and you're holding your classes at noon? So keeping an eye on a time frame too. Okay. So anyway, I don't think there's anything else I wanted to really talk about, except to just remember this. Remember, you know, as a repeat, you know, you want to do that free coaching topic, so that easy topic that leads into the group coaching program, which is your paid program. But you always want to make sure that you are giving something of value for free, so that these people are interested in what you are offering that you're asking for money for. Okay, let me hop over here. All right. So, where's the other thing? One other thing I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. I'm going to stop my share and pull up a file. Okay, so let me give you an example on something here as another structure example. And I see the box flashing here, and I'll get to it in just a second, but I want to pull up the sleep guide as an example for you guys. And then I'll share that. And hold on a moment. Okay, so this is an example. Let's say you're going to do a coaching program on sleep, okay? Insomnia, let's just say insomnia. Okay, so you've got a lot of people in your audience that have been wondering how they can possibly sleep better. How can they overcome insomnia? It's something that everyone's struggling with. So in order to bring people into your circle to learn about your paid program, you're going to talk to them about insomnia. So, you know, that's a vast topic, right? Insomnia can be from a million different things. So this is just a general, just an idea. Insomnia, it's more dangerous than just being tired. You would structure the program like this: discussion point. And this is, again, an example. You guys, you can do this type of structure with any subject. You're going to describe insomnia based on conventional medical terms, okay? So I give you a link here on resources. So describing whatever your topic is on just some conventional medical terms, conventional general terms. Stay on the terms that they'll understand. Talk about what it means to be functionally sleeping well. Talk about the benefits that they're going to get from learning about this free program, right? I mean, about this topic, about whether it's sleeping or stress or food or whatever. You're talking about what it means. You're talking about some benefits of it. Talk about the dangers of it. You're going to talk about how it may affect things in their health, with sleep, hormone disruption, obesity, safety issues, and so on. And again, this is just an example of one subject. Talk about what affects sleep, right? And this is all free. This is lots of high value information. As you go through the talk, you're going to be like, man, am I giving too much away? You're not, because you're giving them general information about insomnia and not sleeping and how it's affecting their health and what affects sleep. And that's leading into them wanting to know more, because that's some high value, high mileage information. You're going to have people that are like, man, I'm in menopause, oh my gosh, this is me. This could be why I'm not sleeping, but how do I fix this? Then you say, you know what, if you're interested in taking this further, I'm going to be able to help you get more and better quality sleep. That leads into your GCP, your group coaching program. And this is another title example, the ABCs and how to get more Z's of sleep. So you're going to revisit insomnia briefly. So these are the people that attended your free talk. They have now signed up for your paid program. And this is how you're going to start it out. You're going to revisit the topic of insomnia, the free program that they attended, just to remind them. Remember when we first met and how you came to me was we talked about insomnia and we talked about what it does to us and how it affects our sleep. Let's go into what a functional definition of insomnia is, because now that you know what conventional insomnia is, let me talk to you about what it really means to have insomnia from a functional perspective. And then you would go into what are the causes of sleep issues. And you can elaborate on every single topic in this list to really add high value to that group coaching program that you're receiving money for. How would they start getting better sleep? Elaborate on all of these bullet points. What about sleeping pills? Talk about the dangers and dependency issues. Talk about natural approaches. Discuss labs to take to their doctor to learn more if those simple changes don't work. Remove, rest, and replace. So this is where you are literally at the end of your 90 minutes and you're saying to them, we've gone through all of this great information, da, 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 da. And then you say to them, you know what? Next week, I'm going to do the same thing with food. I'm doing a group program on the standard American diet and how to move into a whole food program. If you're interested in learning more, you love this program or this class, this course, go ahead and sign up here. There's a link, or you can put your name here and I'll send you everything you need to know. Okay? So just remember, you guys, we don't have to complicate this. This can be very simple, because for us, it may seem simple, but for them, it is like beyond complex and a lot of information if we step into the things that we think that they need to know right away. Okay, so let me look at the box up here that's flashing around. Okay, hold on a minute. Mary Louise is asking, how do you assess where the group is in its cumulative knowledge before the first session? I'm speaking to a group of older women in a weight loss support group, May 15th. I got some details on her demographics and the organizer and offered her a choice of topics. I'm afraid the basics topics she liked will be too basic. Okay. All right. So let me see here. The basic topics she liked: overview of food, exercise, sleep, stress, fun. So if the organizer is telling you that that's what they want, first of all, I have to say, maybe it's too basic for you, but maybe she's telling you, I know these women, and because I'm the organizer and I'm the one that knows their demographics, and I'm telling you that the basics are going to be enough for them. Okay. It is okay to touch the basics and tuck in a little bit of that in-depth stuff. So an example of that might be, and I know how smart you are, Mary Louise, I know how much that you know, and that it's so tempting to deep dive into so many things. So what you might do is, to start with the basics, is you say, how many people here have eaten fast food before? And again, people will raise their hand. Oh yeah, I had McDonald's for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how many of you made breakfast at home? Maybe you have one person there, or 2 people, 3 people, whatever. So then you're gathering, as you're doing your talk, you're gathering how much information those people are going to be able to handle. And you don't have to necessarily do this before the first session. You can have your topic set to the side, the basics, and use that in-depth knowledge that you have to elaborate as you get a feel for your audience. So if you have 5 people that are eating fast food and 1 person that isn't, you're not going to dive into saying, you know what, if you use a tablespoon of coconut oil and you throw some pastured eggs in a pan and slice an avocado, you're going to be so much better off than going to McDonald's. You're not going to do that. You're going to say to them, okay, this is very common. I mean, you're not alone, whatever it is to make them feel comfortable, and say to them, what would you say if I told you that breakfast at home could be faster than going through McDonald's, right? And then you make that suggestion. And then you talk real quickly about, and you get to have butter, and, and then you walk through a quick example about how fast it is to cook an egg at home with an avocado or a piece of toast or whatever. But you wouldn't deep dive into, the proteins in the egg whites, or the fats in the avocado, or the MCT oil of coconut oil. You wouldn't go into those details. You would stick with the basics of how to take that one meal and replace it. You're still diving deep in the knowledge, but you're not going over their head with it. Does that make sense, Mary Louise? But always, if you are getting information and demographics from an organizer, and someone has asked you to speak, you got to follow what they're telling you to do, and then use use your deep dive knowledge in small pieces. If they're just asking for basics, use those pieces that when it's appropriate. Okay. Because they're asking you to come for a reason, and it's probably because the basics are going to be perfectly fine for this group. You're asking, is this Doc the Sleep example in the membership? It's not. It actually was a group program that I put together and I sell on my website, and I'm talking about putting it into the HCMM program and just tucking it in there for you guys. I haven't made a decision on that because it took me forever to put it together, and I'm trying to be really good about how much I'm giving away, and because I do talk about all of us honoring ourselves in what we give, and I'm really trying to walk the walk when I give advice. So it is something that I think could be really beneficial for people to run a group coaching program. It's a template to program on, and I think it's probably something I'm going to give to you guys. Just give me some time to figure it out and talk to my team about what they think as well. So, and you say you love the idea of opening with questions to the audience. I think it's a great way to get to open up and kind of let some walls down. And, another thing to keep in mind is that some people, when they get into groups like this, well, most people may feel just a little bit intimidated about what other people know and what other people are doing. And are they eating better than I am? And do they know more than I do? And one way to ease that nervousness for groups is to, opening up with that question and, seeing other people raise their hands, also saying, let me tell you a little story about me. So maybe it's something like this, Mary Louise. If I were to open to a group, I might say, so let me tell you about this person that I know. This person used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, work 70 hours a week, and stay up until 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. This person used to sleep 2 to 3 hours a night, party as much as possible, and do a lot of unhealthy things, never drank a glass of water. And you tell that story. That person was me, is what you say at the end. So you tell them where your weaknesses were, and that way they feel comfortable knowing, look, oh my gosh, she used to smoke. Oh my gosh, she used to do this. It makes them feel comfortable with letting their guard down. So the interaction is really powerful in a group when the leader of that group is not someone who has it all together immediately right away, right? What were your pain points that you went through to get to that point of being living a healthier life or eating more whole food or anything like that? And I always, how big I am on telling the story, right? I mean, that I'm super, super big on telling our story because, I didn't get where I am right now. Doing this, eating right away, or, going gluten-free right away, or anything like that. It took me years to figure this out. So telling people that when I started working with them was very reassuring for them. I even had one girl that told me that she didn't think I could possibly understand what it's like to quit smoking. How could you possibly understand? Look at you. You're all fit. You're a personal trainer and a health coach. You have no idea how hard it is. And so my answer to her was, I understand how hard it was. I spent hundreds of dollars to quit by filling up cigarette packs with water. If I wanted to smoke, I would take one out and then I'd fill it up with water so I wouldn't smoke the rest of them. And then sometimes I just turned right back around, went back to another gas station, got a pack of cigarettes, took one out, filled it up with water. Like, I know how hard it is. And so, yeah, definitely easier to open up the doors with your story. Looking perfect and acting perfect as a health coach is a big fat turnoff for our clients. So, all right. Okay. So let me wrap up here. I wish that I could tell you that group coaching has a perfect structure. I know that there's lots of people out there marketing to coaches right now and saying the same. They're saying, here's your template, and it'll, it's going to give you exactly what you need to do a group coaching program. But it's usually based around a cleanse, or it's based around a specific diet plan or food plan, meal plan. Eat this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's not the kind of coach I am. I'm the kind of coach that thinks that we have to focus on the basics, but we also have to be ourselves in these things. And so anytime you get templates or anything done for you type of thing from me or in my classes or courses, they're made so that you can insert your own personalized self into them and be the coach that you are, not the coach that I am. I'm just giving you the templates on how to do this more efficiently or consistently, or stir up your own creative brain. But I don't want anyone going out there acting like, like they're me, because you're you, and what you have to offer is different than what I have to offer. But what I offer just gives you a way to get that ball rolling, to get the wheels spinning, and keep things simple, and just give you simple reminders based on experience of what I've recognized and been through with clients doing this for so long. So I just want to say, that whatever your topic is, this is just a reminder, whatever your topic is, and if you need help with it, put it in the mastery group. I really want everyone in there communicating, talking to each other so that everyone can learn. So let's say, and let me give you one more example before I wrap it up. Let's say that you've got somebody that is wanting to, let me think, hold on, something it's kind of extreme. Someone that's wanting to stop exercising so much, okay? Say you've got someone who's addicted to like endurance exercises, marathons, because they think that's the only way that they're going to ever lose weight. They've gotten themselves to the point where they're addicted to the high of it. They don't know how to stop, that their family time is suffering. They're not able to cook for themselves. Their job is suffering, like everything's suffering because they're spending so much time doing endurance training. And if anyone knows anything about endurance training, first of all, it's just not the best thing for your body at all. And it sucks the life out of everyone around you. And I know it because I did it. And it's terrible for your family. It's terrible for your family time. It disrupts your sleep. It screws up your cortisol, your circadian rhythm. And I know that's a general statement, and there are some people out there that just rock it. I've got a friend who's 50, I think she's 58, and she has like literally been to Ironman Kona. I can't tell you how many times, and she loves it, and she sleeps great, and she works crazy hours and stuff like that. But on a cellular level, I don't know what's going on there, but she's also a grandmother. She's not married. She has no children at home. So she has the time to do what she loves. But for most people, that's not reality. And so if you have someone who's trying who's trying to back down on their exercise, change things a little bit. Let's say you're going to do a program, like a group coaching program for people who want to add more time to their lives. Let's use that for an example. Exercise and reducing that exercise would be one thing that you can focus on, because most of the time, I bet you money that they're spending 1.5 hours to 2 hours doing something because they think they have to. So you would educate them on how to adopt an exercise program that stimulates the growth hormone, increases cardiovascular health, something like HIIT training or CrossFit, short training, burst training, metabolic effect training, something like that. Might be one of the places where they get an hour back of their time. So, that's a subject too, is how to get more time back in your day for people who are exercising because they think that's the only way to lose weight. Like, there's so many different subjects out there that you can use. So if that's a subject that you have, or an audience you have, is maybe moms trying to lose baby fat, and all those moms are going to stroller clubs, and it's 2 hours long to do the stroller club or whatever, and it's not working for them. Whatever it is that you've got for a subject, I can help you kind of figure it out and structure it. Just tag me, let me know what your idea is, and I can help you figure it out. So I'm happy to do that. It's something I love to do. All right. I'm hoping that was helpful today with the group coaching stuff. Again, it is just one of those things that it's got to be custom to where you're coaching, online or local, who your audience is, who you are, how much time you want to spend on things like this. And, it's going to make you more money. It 100% will make you more money. I promise you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'm going to coach in about 30 minutes. I'm going to pop into the Clarity group and do a quick live video over there too. So hop on over there and see me if you don't have anything else going on. All right. See you later. Thanks, Mary Louise. Yeah, right. Feel better. Oh my gosh. If the wind would stop blowing, I'd probably calm down quite a bit with this stuff. But all right. See you later.